Hi, I'm Sierra, and this is Kenzie.
And our topic is the Arab oil embargo. The Arab oil embargo began in 1973 and lasted till 1974. During the 1973 Arab-Israeli War, Arab members of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, also known as OPEC, imposed an embargo against the United States in retaliation for the U.S. decision to resupply the Israeli military and to gain power in the post-war peace negotiations. The embargo both banned petroleum exports to the target nations and introduced cuts in oil production. The 1973 oil embargo strained the U.S. economy that had grown increasingly dependent on foreign oil.
The embargo contributed to an upward spiral in oil prices with global implications. The price of oil per barrel first doubled, then quadrupled, imposing skyrocketing costs on consumers and structural challenges to the stability of whole national economies. Since the embargo and the declining in the economy were happening at the same time, a global recession seemed close to happening. U.S. allies in Europe and Japan had stockpiled oil supplies, and thereby secured for themselves a short-term solution. But the long-term possibility of high oil prices and recession precipitated a rift within the Atlantic Alliance.
Partly in response to these developments, on November 7th, the Nixon administration announced Project Independence. This was to promote domestic energy independence. The Emergency Petroleum Allocation Act authorized federal controls over the price, production, and marketing of oil and gas. It was just one of the many government efforts to manage the effects of the embargo, and it didn't fully resolve the oil problem. So instead, President Nixon and Secretary of State Henry Kissinger recognized the constraints inherent in peace talks to end the war that were coupled with negotiations with the Arab OPEC members to end the embargo and increase production.
In December of 1973, gas lines started to form. As fall turned into winter and gasoline became an increasingly rare commodity, long lines formed at gas stations, fraying commuters' nerves. As supplies dwindled, many gas stations went out of business. For example, pumps in New Jersey were almost 4 miles long. Since the average price of gas climbed to 84 cents per gallon from 38 cents per gallon, sales for more fuel-efficient cars skyrocketed, and the demand for big, heavy gas guzzlers declined.
These big cars were what most American car companies were producing. Because of this, it spelled disaster for the auto industry. Consumers started driving the small, fuel-efficient cars, and they also began to save energy at home by moderating their use of hot water, heat, and air conditioning.
After Israel withdrew the last of its troops from the west side of the Suez Canal, the Organization of Petroleum exporting countries agreed to finally end the embargo, closing a very, very dark chapter in the energy history.
Overall, the oil crisis set off an upheaval in global politics and the world's economy. It also challenged America's position in the world
And it shook
the country's confidence.
Thank you so much for listening to what we had to say about the Arab oil embargo of 1973.
We are so glad that there is no longer the Arab oil embargo because now we can enjoy our oil peacefully and we don't have to worry about it changing prices. Thanks for watching. Bye!